Let's have a go at making a complete project with Premiere Pro. We'll start out from scratch, make a new project, bring in some media, make a sequence, put in maybe some music and a title and maybe some fades and effects, and then we'll throw the whole thing into Encore and we'll build a simple DVD with a menu that links to the various chapters in our sequence. I just think it'd be useful for us to go right from beginning to end in the workflow with Premiere Pro. CS6. I'm going to start out by clicking New Project, and I don't need to change any of the settings in here. I'm happy with the default options for my video timecode display. I don't need that to be in feet and frames or anything like that. I'm happy with the audio time display format. I'm not going to be capturing video, I'm going to be importing, so that doesn't really matter. And I'm happy for my scratch disks to all be located in the same place as my project. I'll put them inside my project folder. So all I really need to do is choose a location and choose a name. I'm going to use the mountain race media we've got here, so I'll just call this the mountain race. There we go. And I'll call this begin so you can see exactly which one it is. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do to make this easier. I'll call this create a new project, and then you can follow along lesson by lesson. And I'm happy for that to go into the project folder. That's okay. I'm going to click OK. You can see I already started with one of these. I'll overwrite that. And in this new sequence dialog, I'm just going to click cancel. I'm not going to make a new sequence using this dialog box. I'm going to be lazy. I'm going to get Premiere Pro to do it for me. Now let's import some media, and let's begin by resetting this workspace. Yep. And then I'm going to double click inside the project panel here to import. Here's my mountain race media. And in fact, I'm going to just go up a step here to my video assets, and I'm going to select the folder and just choose import folder. There we go. Next up, I want to make my sequence, and I'm going to be super lazy here, and you can interpret this as super efficiency if you like. But before I go any further, I'm going to switch over. I've just expanded the mountain view bin here. I'm just going to Control or Command double click to open this up in this panel, and then I'm going to switch to the thumbnail view. And in fact, I'm going to go full screen. I'm going to use this tilde button, the backwards apostrophe key on the keyboard, to go full screen with this and just check that everything's right. Now for a start, it looks like I've got this output from the meadow sequence. I don't need that. I'm just going to hit delete and get rid of it. I've also got two copies of this interview clip, and one of them is noisy and one of them is clean. So I'm going to get rid of the noisy one, just hit delete, and I'm pretty happy with the rest of the media. But I can see that two of these clips have got a 4:3 aspect ratio. And now I happen to know that all of this media is 16:9, and these two clips have just been tagged wrong in the metadata. So I'm going to click on the first one, I'm going to hold down the Control or Command key and select the other one. Then I'm going to right click, choose Modify, Interpret Footage, go to the pixel aspect ratio. I'm going to set this to conform to NTSC widescreen. This is all NTSC media, and then click OK. And now we're back to everything being 16:9. Now I'm going to press that tilde key again to come out of full screen with this panel, and I'm just going to pick any one of these. In fact, first of all, let me go up a level and switch back to the list view. I'm going to pick any one of these clips and drag it onto the new item button to make my initial sequence. I don't really mind which clip I use. I really just want the sequence to match the settings for my media. There it is. I'm going to rename this Mountain Race. There we go. Then if I just go full screen again with, oops, now you see what happened there? It's just kind of an interesting thing. I had this clip selected and I pressed the tilde key to go full screen with the panel, and of course what I really did is rename the clip. Now if that happens to you, don't panic, just press escape and you're going to undo the text as I did just now. So now I'm going to go full screen with nothing selected in that way, and let me just collapse this bin. I'm going to, in fact, let me be even faster with this. I'm going to select my sequence. I'm just going to drag it onto the new bin button, and this is going to put that sequence in a bin for me. I'm going to name this sequence, and you can see that because the original item is inside the mountain race bin, it's made it into a subdirectory. So I'm just going to pull this left a little bit, not all that far away, just a little bit out of the stack and let go. And this is going to pull that sequence bin out of the mountain race bin. You can have bins inside bins inside bins if you want to. It's a very useful thing to do. But that's pulled it out so it's in its own separate directory. And now, if I flatten this, you can see I've got a tidier bin. I really encourage you to be as tidy as you can be. It only takes a moment. It can save you hours later in the edit. Let's press that key again to go back from full screen. And let's just select this clip that was randomly added to the sequence and delete it. I don't need that in there. I just wanted it to define the parameters of the sequence. And if I now select this sequence, go to the panel menu in the project panel, and then turn on the preview area, which is off by default in the PremiereProCS6 interface, I can see, yep, it's 720 by 480, it's a 1.2121 to 1 pixel aspect ratio. This is regular NTSC, except interestingly, it's 23.976 interlaced lower field first media. So most NTSC is 30 frames per second or 29.97 frames per second. This stuff's all 24 frames per second, but because it's drop frame, it means that although it really does play at 24 frames per second on the computer, it's dropping a frame of timecode every now and then, about one every 10 seconds, I believe, and only in the timecode, only so that the measurement of time matches the way this would be broadcast. If it was broadcast at 24 frames per second, it would actually be broadcast at 23.976 frames per second. The eye tells me that it's interlaced. That means I've got the odd and even lines of the video being displayed. This isn't progressive whole frames, and it's 48 kilohertz audio, which is fine, and it's in stereo. And that's all taken from the sequence. I'll just close that panel again, which is based on one of my clips. So I know I'm all good and I'm ready to edit.